Yeah, I tell you what, both quarterbacks look good. Tramel Jones came in there in that second quarter and threw a couple of beautiful passes, touchdown passes. And then Aaron Philo got one also right there in the second quarter. So I think we got two good quarterbacks. And,
that's
they're sitting there battling it out. But, Pat, I was telling you earlier, of the 8 conference championships my teams have won, 1 at Duke and 7 here, 2 quarterbacks basically split the season.
Another Dooley Noted podcast comes to you from the Coach's Podcast Room at Spurrier's Gridiron Grill in Celebration Point. Okay, welcome into another Dooley Noted podcast presented by Titan MRI and Imaging and coming to you from the Meldon Law Gator Studios. Coach Spurrier will be in here today for a Meldon Monday. Robbie Andrew will be in here today for a Meldon Monday, and also sponsored by Big Mills Cheesesteak. And we'll do all of our cool stuff that we like to do. Today, Coach Spurrier, on Thursday, Ross Dellinger, who has got his thumbprint on what's going on with college football. We'll talk to him about what's going on. I mean, he does an amazing job, and he has been all over all the stuff we talk about. So we'll get to him. Still trying to work on a guest for now. By the way, I did talk to the Sports Information about trying to get Tammy Reese on. They're going to wait till after the portal stuff is all done. I get that. She's got a lot of stuff to do. Anything that gives them success, I'm for, but hopefully we get her on at some point. We'll get some other guests going on soon. All right, let's get to our MoneyMedals.com starting 5. MoneyMedals.com is your home for gold and silver purchases, one of the largest distributors in all the United States. 2 Gator grads are running it, and you can reach them at 1-800-800-1865 or at MoneyMedals.com. All right, let's talk a little bit about the spring game or the orange and blue game or whatever you want to call it. Look, it's just a little scrimmage they had. They had a lot of fun. One thing is, my motto about spring, get out of it healthy. And they seem to get out of it healthy. I think one guy got nicked up a little bit, but the quarterbacks look good. But they also throw a bunch of interceptions, too. So don't forget. Now, one was a deflected pass, but 77 passes, you're going to throw a couple picks. There's no doubt about it. I liked that a guy named Dooley got an interception. How about that? It's the big heroes of this weekend were Rothrock and Dooley. How about We'll go with that. Yes, we'll go with that. Look, they looked fine. They didn't look like an elite team. I love the wide receiver room. It is, when you add in Mays and you add in Singleton and to the Vernell when Dallas Wilson's healthy. I think Abrams can be a good player. There's no doubt they've got plenty of wide receivers. They got to get guys throwing the ball. And, of course, the big issue is the offensive line, which we've talked about before. They've got to get way better on the offensive line. Coach Summerall threw out the gauntlet. He said, hey, look, you got to get better. You've got 3 months or 4 months to get to where we need you to be. You're not there. And you could see that. The quarterbacks were under a lot of pressure without a lot of blitzing going on. Summerall said it. He says, we have no chance if you guys don't do the things I need you to do. He's trying to fire this up. Look, he's firing people up every day. He's getting the Gator Nation excited. He's getting the players excited. But at the end of the day, his coaching staff's excited. At the end of the day, it comes down to, do the players want to do what he wants them to do? Players who are receiving money. I don't know. I don't know the answer to that. I'm not saying any of them are any different at Alabama or Clemson and Florida. I mean, I'm just saying it comes down to, do you have the group that's going to do that? And I hope they have the leadership to do that. But they're going to have to get a lot better. Are they an SEC championship caliber team? No. This might be a year where they win 7 games and everybody goes, okay, that's good. Look, it only happened once under Billy Napier, so don't forget that. $47,100 in the park. I estimated the crowd at 40 grand. So I'm sure they added a little bit to it, but I think it's harder to tell. But it was a beautiful day. Everybody had a good time. I thought it was a tie game. I started writing stuff, and my column will appear in the Main Street News. In fact, it's already up online. If you want to read it, go to the Main Street News, dailynews.com, and you can read my new column. And you can read another column on Patreon. I wrote 2 columns yesterday, so I'm doing good. Patreon.com. But I thought this was a great quote from Summerall after the game. He said, "I tell recruits, if you like us now, you're going to love us later." And it feels like a commercial for like Prel shampoo or something, but I totally agree. I think that's what we all have to understand. This is the beginning of trying to get Florida back. Like he said, we have to awake the beast. The beast has been slumbering pretty badly. I mean, I would say it had 2 moments in the last 10 years. 2 moments. That would be when they beat Georgia finally, and when they beat Auburn in that big game when everybody was losing their mind, crowds were crazy. Other than that, I don't know there have been great moments in Florida football. Anyway, they do have to awake the beast. All right, let's get to number 2 on our MoneyMetals.com starting 5, and that is there is no doubt that they did well in the portal when it comes to wide receiver. You know, Micah Mays had a great game. Eric Singleton, great game. They've got some receivers in that room. There's no question about it. And again, I think you have to look at this game as what it was, which was, hey, we're just going to come out and throw the ball every down and just have fun and get the fans excited. And, you know, they didn't run the ball very much. I mean, you're not going to lean on Jaden Ball in this game. I mean, you don't need to. You did against FSU last year. You probably should have way more. I almost, at times, Jaden Ball kind of fell into that Dameon Pierce black hole where you don't get the ball enough even though you're the best player on the team. Anyway, they want him 100% healthy, ready to go, and he's going to be a leader on that team, and he needs to come out and be good. So, and look, I like Duke Clark last year, and I like him a lot this year. I thought he showed some burst speed, has some quickness. Certainly Vernell Brown III looked good. There are they've got talent on the offensive side. They just got to block for it. But I'm curious whether the offensive philosophy that we saw in this game, which was a little bit of a mix of Fedora and Napier, to be honest with you, is what they're going to go with. But he said it was very vanilla. But think about this: a lot of bubble screens, a lot of roll. Actually, it was more McElwain than anything else because a lot of that roll out to the right, fake it left, roll out to the right, hit the tight end, or if there's a receiver deep. But again, these are the base plays of that offense. It doesn't mean they're going to go into a game and that's what they're going to run. Anyway, I just look. They threw for a lot of yards. They scored a lot of points. I think their offense is going to be fine if they can just figure out how to block. That's going to be the key. All right, let's get to number 3 on our MoneyMetals.com starting 5, and let's talk about some baseball in our lives. We need a little baseball in our lives. And baseball had a good weekend. 2 out of 3 against Georgia. Georgia's a top 5 team. What a weekend. Again, this is a week where Florida beats FSU on the road, then goes to Georgia and wins 2 out of 3. If you had told me going into the week that Florida would go 2-2 for the 4 games, I would have said, I'll take it. I'll take it. Can I sign up? They go 3-1. Again, this is a team that's hard to fall in love with because every time you do, they go lose to BCC, which they play Tuesday night. I wouldn't be surprised if they found a way to lose that game, but they found a way to win this game, held the team to 0 home runs that it was leading the nation in home runs, and 14 runs for Georgia in the series, the lowest of the year. Florida pitching got it done. Now, even though Sandefur did not pitch well, certainly the job Peterson did, he pitched well enough to win. Aiden King did pitch well enough to win. And on Sunday, the bats came alive and they won the game. Florida now 10-1 versus top 25 opponents. I did not have Hayden Yost hitting 2 monster homers on Sunday on my bingo card. I can tell you that, but it happened, and that was really cool. Good week for the Gators, but every time they have a good week, it feels like they have a bad week. We'll see what happens this week. I think it's BCC Tuesday. I think Auburn's coming to town over the weekend. I'm pretty sure I'm right, but I know they are in softball. Feels like they are in baseball too. Anyway, let's move along to it is Auburn. I'm sorry, I wrote it down here, so I usually don't know, but let's talk about the Masters. The Masters was certainly entertaining. I thought it was good for the most part. When McIlroy was up 6, I was like, how do I root against him? But I don't want it to be something I don't want to watch. I will say this: early in the day, I said I'm going to go out to I'm going to go out to Ironwood and play, and then come back and watch the back 9. That's all you really need to see, right? And you certainly did in this case. But when I went out there, they had no carts left because everybody wanted to play golf. It was such a beautiful day. Anyway, McIlroy's 6th major, and at 37. Now, he's not going to catch Jack and Tiger, but he can get to 10, and 10 is a big number in the world of golf. It was interesting because Rose and Young both had a chance and just couldn't get it done. But this was the shot, to me, that won the tournament on 12. And I've stood on that tee, and oh, man, what a great shot it was. That's when I go, Rory's going to win this thing now. That's going to, even if he doesn't make it, but he did make it, that was where he's going to win it. But I can tell you that from experience playing that hole many years ago, actually it was exactly 30 years ago I played it. You stand on that tee and you look it up there and you go, it looks like a thumbnail. You're trying to hit it to a thumbnail. And to hit a shot like that, you got to trust your club. Anyway, it was a good Masters, fun to watch. Rory's celebration was epic. I didn't think it would be that emotional, but it was. I mean, he's a happy camper. We'll see what happens, man. I'm just curious to see what happens with him. It's not like he's going to get worse. Like Tiger went, downhill after all the injuries and everything. And I guess injuries could happen to him, but he's not going to sleep with Perkins waitresses. But we'll see what happens with him, how far ahead he can go. All right, number 5 on our Money Medal starting 5, and that is our Steve and Christine Wendig present the Olympic Gator of the Weekend. It is brought to you by Steve and Christine Wendig from Boss Hart Realty, and we do this every Monday. Our Olympic Gator of the Weekend is Zach's girl, Keegan Rothrock. Got it done this weekend. First of all, starts out the series against South Carolina with a no-no. That would be no-hitters for those of you who don't know. And then comes back and wins the third game. Gave up 1 run. She was just dominant. And she got in a lot of trouble in the third game, but she kept getting out of it as Florida sweeps that series. Florida now 40-5 in softball. They got a 14-4 record. Sorry, I got miscombobulated there. 14-4 record here. Keegan Rothrock is now 21-4 and 10-3 in SEC games. That's pretty good. By the way, Jocelyn Erickson, I could have made her the Gator of the Week, but she right now, think about these numbers. If this was slow pitch softball and these were your numbers, Zach, I would be very impressed. If you were hitting 442 with 19 homers and 66 RBI.
That's better than Ted Williams.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. So she's really having a big year. Had 2 3-run homers in the middle game of that series. So, all right, so that's our Olympic Gator of the Weekend brought to you by Steve and Christine Wendig at Boss Hart Realty. We'll take a break. When we come back, The HBC will join us. We'll talk about the spring game. We'll talk about the Masters. Talk about a lot of stuff with head coach Steve Spurrier will join us. Robbie Andrew for Yes, No, Where, Maybe. This is another duly noted podcast presented by Titan MRI and Imaging and coming to you from the Meldon Law Gator Studios.
Give me 60 seconds and I'll show you why you should be buying silver and how to get started. Recent price spikes in groceries, healthcare, gasoline, steel, and lumber tell the story of inflation, as do raging bull markets and equities in housing. As the reality of all this inflation sinks in, investors will be acting quickly to diversify and protect themselves, their families, and their assets. That's why we're offering our Silver Starter Kit to help you get started in holding tangible wealth. This mix of our most recommended forms of silver includes 9 silver coins, totaling 4 troy ounces of fine silver. These pure silver coins have a low bid-ask spread, the difference between the price you pay to buy and the price you receive to sell. Low transaction costs are one reason Investopedia calls Money Metals the best dealer in America. Don't waste any more time. Start protecting your savings today with physical precious metals at moneymetals.com/go.
Adams Rib Company has been a staple of Gainesville for more than a decade and a staple of the Dooley house ever since Kelsey's teeth came in. The first time I walked into Adams, I told my daughter that the green beans are always a test of a great barbecue restaurant, and they were perfect. You know about the ribs that melt in your mouth, and my favorite, the turkey plate. But be sure to go in on Fridays for Nana's Fish Nuggets. They will melt in your mouth. Adams Rib Co., a Gainesville great.
Meldon Law has been serving personal injury victims since 1971. In those days, Jeffrey Meldon's presence as an attorney in the music scene dubbed him with the nickname the Hippie Attorney. And although times have changed, 2 things haven't: our commitment to bettering our community by helping the injured,
Albert, are you ready to go to the game?
and our love for the Florida Gators.
If you bleed orange and blue, Meldon Law is the firm for you.
Okay, welcome back to another duly noted podcast presented by Titan MRI and Imaging and coming to you from the Meldon Law Gator Studios. Meldon Law, of course, is a sponsor of Meldon Mondays, where Coach Spurrier comes in and tells us what he thinks about things. Today he can tell us what he thinks about football because we had a spring game. I know you were there. You were out there talking at Tommy Townsend's event as well.
Tailgate.
Yeah.
They had a little tailgate get-together. And, man, there must have been, 2,000 or 3,000 people out?
It was packed,
I got there and said, where is Freddie and the microphone? They said, over that way, Coach. So I found the tent where they were and just said a few words to the crowd. But, that was a well-packed event. And the game was good after the first quarter. First quarter it was like 3 and out, 3 and out, and 3 and out.
I said this in one of my columns. I said it was almost like they left Billy Napier's playbook behind.
Quarter.
First quarter.
Yeah. But I told Buster Faulkner, the offensive coordinator, I said, you made the greatest comeback in orange and blue game history from the first quarter to second quarter.
Yeah.
Because I think we threw 3 touchdown passes all in the second quarter.
Yeah.
And they had a scoring system.
And they were great plays, great
well
passes,
executed against the defense. Quarterbacks, Aaron Philo and Tramel Jones made some perfect passes. So it was entertaining that second quarter. And then the rest of the game was pretty good also.
Yeah, it was a backup. So they came in there.
Yeah, let everybody play.
Yeah.
But anyway, I think all the fans left the ballpark thrilled and optimistic.
Yep.
We're going to have a good team this year. Real good.
Yeah, and then I thought it was really good. I thought the press conference was good. I haven't been to a lot of good press conferences in a long time, but this was a good one where he said, look, if we don't get bigger and stronger and faster on the offensive line, we have no chance. So he called them out basically. And I that's been the vibe I've heard is the offensive line is the biggest issue with Florida. So hopefully, I don't know, how much can you make an offensive line better between the end of the spring game and the start of fall practice?
Well, that's what they call off-season workouts.
Yeah.
Our strength coach, I'm sure he's got those guys jumping a lot of rope. I hope he does, because that's where you get the quick feet.
Yep.
And, of course, I had the quarterbacks jump rope all summer also. But anyway, they can get quicker little bit stronger. And then offensive line play, to me, it's more effort in knowing what to do than, hey, he's a great one, he's not a great one. So you don't have to have all Americans up there to get the job done. So I think we're going to eventually be okay there. But coach is sort of giving them a little nudge. Hey, we got to get better.
Yep.
So they'll do it this summer.
Yeah, I think people don't realize how cerebral the offensive line is. It's not just like being big and heavy, you know. You just, and putting your hands up. You've got to, there's things you have to know. You have to know where to go. You have to know who's picking up who. And we've seen that one. That's where blitzes come in. You must have been really happy to see Florida throw the ball 77 times.
Yeah, I tell you what, both quarterbacks look good. Tramel Jones came in there in that second quarter and threw a couple of beautiful passes, touchdown passes. And then Aaron Philo got one also right there in the second quarter. So I think we got two good quarterbacks. And,
that's
where they're sitting there battling it out. But Pat, I was telling you earlier, of the 8 conference championships my teams have won, 1 at Duke and 7 here, 2 quarterbacks basically split the season. Terry Dean and Danny Warfel, 93, 94.
Yep.
And then later, Jesse Palmer and Rex in 2000, we won that championship. They each won 4 games, almost identical. So you can play 2 quarterbacks. One goes bad, the other one might come in there and tear it up. So that's I certainly enjoyed having 2 because it kept the first guy maybe a little on edge too. That if I don't play well, that next guy's going to be in there.
Yep.
So
anyway. I think it's accurate because I think a lot of people believe in that saying, if you have 2 quarterbacks, you don't have any. I disagree because I covered you for all these years, and I know that if you have 2 quarterbacks, it can work, and it's worked for other teams too. And I think they'll just say, hey, look, I think they'll give the job to Aaron Philo. I don't think he came here to be a backup, but they won't announce it till right before the season. We know that, but I think a lot of people became Tramel Jones fans too. So, and they were clamoring for him last year when DJ Langley was pooping the bed all the time.
I think maybe DJ had something in his contract that he was going to be the starter unless he was just hurt so bad he couldn't start. But anyway, I think the atmosphere right now so much better than last year. Langley was hurt the whole spring.
It is.
You know who the star quarterback in the spring game was last year?
Warder?
No, Harrison Bailey.
That's right, Harrison Bailey.
I looked, they had a sheet of all the records of Orange and Blue games. That guy threw 48 passes last year. In 2025, I never even heard of him after that. And
no, I don't think he played the rest of the year.
I don't know if he quit or transferred or what.
No, he was there. He was a transfer from Tennessee.
Okay. But he threw for about 300 and something yards last year. So I said, dang.
Spring games sometimes matter like it did in 90 with you.
Yeah.
But sometimes they don't matter.
Yeah.
And
Harrison Bailey.
Because I remember the Ian Skinner game where he had a big game, and then you said, well, he's ineligible next year.
Ian was.
That was always hilarious.
Yeah. But anyway, we got a lot of good players out there, and we'll come with good attitudes, I'm sure. Coach Summerall and his staff, really cohesive staff, I think. They all get together and do things the right way, really do.
They do. It seems like that. Like my wife was asking me about what I thought, and I said, I think they're more organized. I think they have a good coaching staff that is going to get the best out of the players they have. Now, I don't know that the roster is, a playoff roster, but I think it's there where you can get it elevated to being a playoff roster if you coach it well.
Oh, yeah. My opinion is almost every team in the country has pretty good players now because if it's a good player and he's playing second team, he'll go somewhere where he can be a starter. So almost everybody's got good players now. So I really think coaching is more important now than it's ever been because the talent is spread out pretty much.
I think, too, it's like I'm a big believer that college football is a coaches' league and the NFL is a players' league. That's just my opinion.
Could be. Yeah.
You've been in both, so you would know better than I. But let's move along to the Masters, which was certainly entertaining.
Yep.
Fun to watch. I hope you enjoyed it. I thought it was great. people nitpick at the coverage and everything, and I'm not worried about that. But anyway, McIlroy winning again. We got to start thinking about him as one of the greatest golfers of all time now.
Yeah, to win it back to back, that was something. And
to have 6.
I tell you, he was fortunate, and I'm sure he'll say he was. All those balls he kept hitting in the woods, he had a little opening all the time. But that last one on 18, those woods over there, you usually have to pitch out sideways or up the other fairway. He got it all the way in that trap up front somehow. He had just a little opening, and he hit that draw. So, that was a good bogey. Of course, that's all he needed to win. But if that ball had been stymied behind a tree somewhere and had to chip out sideways or what have you, I mean, we're looking at a playoff probably easily there.
I think that's what makes that course so tough. Not only the greens, but the fact that it's not. The rough is nothing. It's not a big deal.
Yeah.
But there's trees everywhere. I mean, it's just like every hole you get up and you go, I better hit it straight. Like you played there, so you know what it's like at 17 and 14 when you're sitting there and you go, hey, it feels like a sliver up there.
Yeah, but give Rory credit. He was on an even keel all the way through. He didn't give it all those fist bumps or anything. Every time he made a birdie, he knew he was looking for the finish line, and he got there first. So it was really good. Justin Rose, I was sort of halfway pulling for him.
Yeah, me too.
Because he's an older guy that's never won one. He's been runner-up 3 times, but had a little setback on the backside there. But he was in position. I think he had to lead at one time.
He did.
A whole bunch of them had the lead.
Cameron Young had the lead too. But nobody in the back 9, in the back 7 or 8 holes, nobody went after Rory. I think that made him be able to play a little more conservative.
Yeah.
But, it was fun. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it all week. I enjoyed the par 3 contest. I enjoyed everything about it. Let's talk a little bit about softball and baseball for Florida. It was a big weekend for them. Softball sweeping South Carolina, and baseball getting 2 out of 3 from Georgia, which came into the series leading the nation in homers. 98, they hit 0 in this game. Yeah, so Florida's pitching got it done.
Yeah, baseball, the regular season, we have regular season champ.
Yeah.
And then we have the tournament champ, and then, of course, the big tournament to try to win it all. So in the regular season, we're not really up there for that, are we?
Yeah,
we're fifth, 4th or 5th.
Well, they cut into a game. Georgia's leading.
Okay.
They're like in. I think they're 3 out,
3 or so,
or 2 out. But there's a lot of. It's very cluttered, and there's a lot of teams that are about the same.
Okay.
So. And softball, I mean, Oklahoma lost finally, and so that pulls them within a couple of games too. So
I got on my Renegade shirt.
You do.
Ricky Neuheisel's the head coach of the Dallas Renegades. My son Scott's out there, special team coordinator. They didn't play their best yesterday, but they won 28-23. So they're 3-0. And they got a chance, obviously, to get to the championship game and go from there.
I love Rick Neuheisel. I listen to him every morning coming in on Sirius. He's really good at what he does, and kind of juggling 2 jobs right now, right?
He's on the radio 3 hours Monday through Friday, 9 to 12. I don't know how they do it, but they find something to talk about. And then he coaches his team in the afternoon there. So, he's a good coach. He might get something bigger out of this. Who knows?
Yeah. I mean, how much do you think he wants to go?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. He loves it.
He does.
He loves it. He almost had the Georgia Tech job before they hired the guy that's there now.
Frank Key.
Key's there now. So,
Really?
he'd love to get back in it. Yeah.
I'd love to see him back in it. I know he'd probably hire his son to be his offensive coordinator because he was at UCLA and they won a bunch of big games this year. So late in the year, but it'll be interesting to see where that goes. I don't know, Coach. Are you excited about the NBA playoffs at all? I don't get excited about it.
I haven't followed them as much this year as I usually do for whatever reason. I don't know, but seems like there's something else, golf on TV every Sunday when they're playing.
There is.
I'd rather watch something else, but No, I haven't followed it that closely. Now Billy Donovan's team, they're not going to make the playoffs.
No, they're bad. And
I
I thought it was interesting that because everybody thought Billy was going to North Carolina, and I did too. I'd heard a lot of rumors and a lot of talk. But instead, what the Bulls did was come in and go, "What do you need, Billy?" And he said, "I want the two main guys gone. They're terrible.
is that right?
They can't." And this is my theory. Okay. Well, anyway, they got fired, and then right after North Carolina hired Malone, they got fired. Now they even issued a statement that said, "Whoever we're going to hire as a general manager better want Billy Donovan to stay, or we won't hire him." So Billy's going to be in Chicago, I guess, for a while. I thought he wanted to move further south and to get closer to his mom because of of course, his dad passing away. So, but anyway, I'm full of information that may not be accurate. So,
obviously he loves Chicago, coaching with those guys, and they got a good relationship with the owners and all that. So hopefully they can get it turned around and win a championship. Yeah.
He doesn't have to deal with NIL either.
No. They can we used to say they can legally pay him up there. Yeah. Well, they can legally pay him now in college ball, as we all know. Yeah.
Well, and that's the other thing I wanted to ask you before we go, and that is I have a theory, and that is that what everybody needs to focus on is the portal, not the NIL. Forget the NIL. Let it go. Focus on the portal. When more than half of the college basketball players get in the portal, more than half of the scholarship players, that's not working. That is not right. That's not the way it should be. I mean, it's just too much.
Yeah, it's a game of starting all over almost every year. Those coaches that can convince their players to stay to 3 years, those are the good coaches, in my opinion, because you got to try to do that, build some continuity, and add one or two to the starting lineup maybe every year. But you got to give those teams credit, though. A lot of the same ones were in the Final Fours. Michigan was new being there, but they had of course, the best year of all of them.
But they had their starting five was all portal guys.
But usually a lot of the same coaches are up there, especially in women's basketball.
Absolutely.
Yeah, UConn, South Carolina, Texas, and then, of course, UCLA. Their ladies won it going away, and they really played well that game.
Yeah, I think that that's part of the problem I think we're dealing with right now is that the teams that are successful are going to make the most money, and then they can pay the most money. So they just keep being. I don't know. Maybe it'll all settle down at some point. All right. Coach, got anything else?
I don't know. I believe that's about it. Gymnastics.
Thursday.
Big tournaments. This is the finals.
4:30.
National
4:30
championships.
ESPN 2.
Okay.
Oh.
Okay.
We do have the play of the week. We forgot.
Play of the week. Yeah, let's put that on there.
You'll like that one. Play of the week brought to you by Campus USA.
Yeah.
Where Coach and I both bank, and this is a great double move. I love the double move.
Hit him on
and
the
there he
move.
goes. That's Micah Mays. He had a big game, and that was – and he – I mean, I know their secondary guys have speed, so that he blew them away.
That was a perfect play there now. That'll bring the fans to their feet.
Yes.
It did me, I'll tell you what. That was, I think, my favorite play. He gave him a little pump.
Yep.
And then look at this. Hit him on the dead run. I thought that guy may dive and catch him, but he had the speed to turn it on.
You know, when he let it go, I go, he'll probably be overthrown, and no, it was perfect.
Never broke stride.
You hit a guy right there.
Yeah, he never broke stride. That was, I think, definitely the play of the game there with those two guys.
Yeah, absolutely. Micah Mays, so kid from Wake Forest, from your old ACC days.
Yeah. I think he went to a place where we're going to have 85,000, 90,000 in the stands instead of 8,000 maybe.
Yeah.
But Wake Forest is a good school, and they've been pretty good the last few years, actually.
Yeah, they've done good. All right, we'll let Coach go. We'll be back with Robbie Andrew for Yes, No, Where, Maybe. You're listening to or watching another duly noted podcast presented by Titan MRI and Imaging, coming to you from the Meldon Law Gator Studios.
Titan MRI, North Central Florida's premier independent diagnostic testing MRI facility. At Titan MRI, we're focused on you, the patient, having a great customer experience. Our MRI equipment is modern and 75% quieter than any unit in its class. And our MRI unit has one of the largest openings of any of the newer high-strength MRI units, which allows comfortable scanning for potential claustrophobic and larger patients. At Titan MRI, we look forward to serving you.
All right, it may be a new year, but it doesn't mean you have to back off any of your goals as far as losing weight. I know I've been working even harder on it, and of course I get an assist from BMI TeleMed. They help us out with our New Year's resolutions, even if I've already broken 2 of them. Not the food ones, though. Weight loss is your goal. Get with BMI TeleMed. They use GLP-1 medications, and they are individualized, and that's the great thing. I've been through this, and Charlie, just talking to him, it was so great to make him understand, and he understood what I was doing. It's not about just losing weight. It is about keeping it off. You know that. We're all excited about the new year, and we're going to lose weight, but when you lose it in the first month, then you got to keep going. BMI TeleMed is sensible. It's straightforward. It's affordable. No contracts or hidden costs. BMI TeleMed is donating $1 for every pound you lose to the Florida Victorious Foundation. So go Gators. Join the listeners on this podcast who've already lost over 600 pounds. Are you kidding me? I'm 60 of them right there. All right, contact BMI TeleMed today at 727-383-1677.
By now, you heard about the Florida Legends Experience in Gala, featuring Gator Heisman greats Tim Tebow, Danny Warfel, and Steve Spurrier, all in one place at Spurrier's Gridiron Grill. Imagine catching a pass or taking a handoff from a Heisman winner, all while supporting Isaiah 117 to help provide safe, loving homes for children in need. Then enjoy an unforgettable evening at the Gala, filled with great food and lasting memories. Don't miss this historic event. Find out how you and your business can get involved at FLLegends.com. That's FLLegends.com.
Okay, and welcome back to another Dooley Noted podcast presented by Titan MRI and Imaging, coming to you from the Meldon Law Gator Studios. Always a great pleasure to bring on my good friend and confidant, Robert A. Andrew. Robbie, did you enjoy the Masters? Did you have fun?
Yeah, Pat, it was pretty good. What about you? Good weekend?
I did have a great weekend. It was fun. By the way, Robbie is coming to us courtesy of Big Mill's Cheesesteak on the Zoom line. I spent time with, I know you know Angie and Dave Sapp. We were in Houston with them together. Cool. Spent time with them, and then with Sam and Mary Dolson. So it was a good Friday night.
That's good, Pat. That definitely was a good Friday night.
It was.
Remember the time we were in the restaurant pretending we were coaches holding the menu so that nobody could see what we were ordering?
It's the only time we did it, and for some reason it didn't catch on, but we were laughing our butts off. We just kept holding them up, like, yeah, I'm going to have the veal. I'll have the veal. We thought it was the funniest thing ever, but I don't think people around us did. But
of course, there was drinking involved, too, Pat.
There might have been a little bit. All right, it is time for Robbie to play the game we call Yes, No Way, or Maybe. Think of all the famous people that have played this game. But you are the only person that deserves a 40-timer jacket or whatever it would be.
All right. I love it.
Yes, No Way, or Maybe brought to you by Big Mill's Cheesesteak Street Dining. Done the right way. And if you go in there and say you listen to the podcast, you get free French fries with your order. Appreciate Big Mill's Cheesesteak. All right, number one, Robbie, you and I should both be happy that our two teams are leading their divisions right now.
No, not happy, Pat. Ecstatic. But, for me, I know it's probably not going to last very long. The Twins are, 9-7 with smoke and mirrors, basically. So it probably won't last. But, I think your team could maybe stay up there for a while. They look really good. I guess they've won every series so far, right?
Here's the thing. I literally, when I was looking up the standings today to see where the Twins were, I accidentally saw the Braves were leading the division. I have not paid much attention to it. There was a little bit early when they got off to a hot start, but then they fell off, and I was like, they got no pitching, but we'll see. Look, that's what baseball is. It's a long grind, as you know. And it's the only, what is it? It's the only sport where you can play 162 games and what? Gain weight.
Where you can gain weight, yeah. But the thing is, Pat, you've got to enjoy the ups, when you've got them. And now we've got an up right now, both of us. And, enjoy it while we can. It may not last long, but hey.
We're not sitting here going national championship or bust. We're going, hey, if we can get the playoffs, I'd be thrilled.
I'm not even thinking playoffs, Pat. I'm thinking, can the Twins have a 500 season, which it's kind of my goal every year now.
Yeah,
which they failed miserably a year ago. So we'll see.
All right, we'll see what happens, but it is interesting right now. All right, number 2 on Yes, Nowhere, or maybe brought to you by Big Mills Cheesesteak. With Robbie Andrew, Aaron Philo will start opening day for the Florida football team.
Pat, I went to the game. I'd have to say a maybe on that. I think the competition's still wide open, and I don't think we're going to know the starter maybe till the week before the opener. And because I think that they were very, very equal the other day. I thought that they both did some really good things. I think, Philo maybe looked like he had a little bit better command out there, maybe because he's been in that offense for 2 or 3 years. But, Jones came on and played really well, threw some beautiful balls and, made some good reads. So, I think it's going to be carried over into preseason practice, and we're not going to know till maybe a week before the opener. I think, whoever the starters, I think they're going to have a chance to be okay. There's a lot of playmakers around them. The big concern I would have, the offensive line stunk in that game. Neither quarterback had time to throw.
Yeah, which is what I've been hearing all spring. That the offensive line is a real problem. And he called them out. He said, "Hey, look, the gauntlet's down. If you guys don't get bigger and stronger and faster, we're just gonna suck. And it's up to you."
Yeah, if you don't have a good offensive line, Pat, it doesn't matter who your quarterback is. You got to give the guy time to operate the offense, and they had very little time to do that on Saturday.
Remember McElwain's last year when he praised the offensive line all season, all through the off season, and talked about how it was going to be the best offensive line they ever had. And they went in the first game; they couldn't block anybody.
It was terrible. Yeah,
they were terrible. Yeah, they were. He just So at least he's recognizing that they're not good.
And I think they've got a really good coach in Troutwine, and I think they've got some guys there that are very capable. So I think it's a matter of getting your top 5 or 8 and getting them where they play well together and have some chemistry.
Not only that, they know they got to go get guys, and they're probably spending a lot of money on Max Hiller, who's committed this weekend. So, and as did several guys, they did a really good job, and they're doing a good job of recruiting. And I will say that, but I will see what. Let's go to number 3 on our Yes, Nowhere, maybe with Robbie Andrew, brought to you by Big Mills Cheesesteak. Robbie, in your mind, the Masters on a 1 to 10 scale was about a 7.
Yeah, Pat, I'd agree with that. The potential was there for an unbelievable back 9, but it never happened. And Scheffler, who did not have a bogey on the weekend, which is incredible, which was great, but he couldn't make anything happen in terms of, getting a birdie streak going. If he had, he could have won. But, McIlroy was great. He had that faltered early. He rebounded nicely. And to me, he was the only player on the leaderboard who on 12 went after that pin. Everybody else played it safe, way to the left, and he went for the pin, made a birdie, and that to me was when he had sealed the win in my mind. That to me was the shot of the tournament right there. Like 15 was last year, but the shot on 12 is where you went, uh-oh, he's going to be okay. He's going to win the tournament. So I'm sure you were like me, like you didn't have a villain in this one. Usually you do. You're rooting for one guy against another. Like in the case of Rory, I love Rory, but I wanted Justin Rose to win too. And most of the guys behind him were, I rooted against Terrell Hatton, but other than that, not much. Yeah, everybody. Yeah. The only negative rooting I did the whole tournament was on Saturday. I wanted Rory, and I love Rory too, and I wanted him to win, but I wanted him to come back to the field a little bit. So we have an entertaining Sunday, but that was the only real negative rooting I did the whole weekend. So that's kind of unusual. I was right there with you because I was like, I can't. How could I root for Rory to miss putts? How do I do that? But then I started going, well, it's getting interesting. That's going to make for a great Sunday. It was a great Sunday, and I had a great time. Karen and I cooked kebabs out in the backyard, sat out there and ate dinner. Man. It was nice. A good Sunday. Yep.
All right, my man, I will talk to you next week.
Hey, Pat, take care. We'll see you.
All right, Robbie Andrew. Okay, always great to have Robbie on the show. Appreciate him for doing that. Actually, I did buy all of Robbie's beers on Thursday. Thursday, it's a tradition unlike any other. Robbie and I go somewhere and watch the Masters, and we just love that and have a few beers, and we had a good time. So I did buy his beers as payment for all the times he comes on this podcast because he's a good man. All right, let's get to our Adams Ribco Gator of the weekend. A lot to choose from here, and there's a lot to choose from when you go to Adams Ribco. Ribs, chicken, turkey, anything you want. Pork, pulled pork sandwich is unbelievable. Of course, Nana's Nuggets on Fridays. In fact, I had two different people come up to me and say, yeah, man, I hear about those Nana's Nuggets all the time. I need to go get those. I go, you need to. They melt in your mouth. All right, let's get to our Adams Ribco Gator of the weekend. And it is, I got a lot of choices here. I'm going to go with Kyle Jones. Kyle Jones is having a good year, and he's really been a good leadoff player for Florida. And certainly in the game Sunday, as Florida got the series win over Georgia, he went 5 for 5 and hit a homer, and he crushed it too. Really having a good year. And Kyle Jones, the transfer from Stetson, who, of course, missed, I think, a lot of last year, right, when he was hurt. But he's having a good year, and he had a great game in that game, and that's a big win for Florida. That puts them in that, that more into that host. Like, they're going to host in softball, there's no doubt. And I think they're going to host in baseball, too, and that's what I love. I love it when we've got all that stuff going on here in town. That's our Adams Ribco Gator of the weekend. It's Kyle Jones. Kyle, if you want to go to lunch at Adams Rib, I'm buying. Just let me know. It's a standing offer. Nobody's taken me up on it yet. Maybe they don't like me. Maybe they don't watch the podcast. I don't know. All right, let's get to our Leonardo's and Millhopper quick pick. And I went to Leo's last week. On Thursday, I think it was, and got a bunch of cards from Kyle Cohen over there at Leonardo's at Millhopper, and so I'm kind of fired up to give some away. So I'm going to give one away Thursday. How about that? We're going to go ahead and jump ahead a little bit. Give one away Thursday, and I'm going to probably throw something else in there. We'll see. It could be a hat, signed Bob Dooley hat. It could be a gift certificate at No Paul, could be a gift certificate at Salty Dog. I'll check with the person to see what they want. That's how I'm doing things. All right, I'm giving you, and by the way, a lot of you got the things right. You got the blue right, and you got the Florida winning 2 out of 3 right. For everybody who's not already a member of patreon.com/Dooley Noted, I will send you a 1-month subscription for free that Kyle Cohen donates every month, and we appreciate Kyle for that. All right, our Leonardo, here's 2 chances to qualify, last chance to qualify for the next drawing for Leonardo's and Millhopper Quick Pick. Of course, email it to patrickdooley54@gmail.com. And here are the picks. We've got basketball Wednesday, Golden State at the LA Clippers. I don't know, -3.5. The Clippers are, okay? And Orlando at Philly. That's all. These are both Wednesday games, so you have time to get them in. -1.5. So Philly is -1.5. So all you have to do is say Golden State, Orlando, or Philly. Yeah, you guys know what to do. And that'll be our last chance to qualify for the Leonardo's at Millhopper Quick Picks to win $25 gift certificate at Leonardo's. Appreciate them. Again, we had a good time over there. Had the usual sandwich. The Duels. It's the best sandwich in the world. All right, let's get to our BMI TeleMed Overachiever of the weekend. BMI TeleMed, we appreciate them. Our weight loss specialists, Achieve and Maintain, 727-383-1677. I was actually talking to 2 different people in the press box about this BMI TeleMed, and they were like, hey, they look at me and they go, you're a walking advertisement for it. So, and I appreciate that. people said nice things about me. Anyway, our overachiever of the weekend is Fred Ridley. Now, I know Fred Ridley doesn't need to be given any more awards. This guy is the chairman of the Masters at Augusta National. But think about it. This guy he won the U.S. Amateur when he was at Florida, but he didn't really do much as a collegiate golfer. Now he's not only one of the biggest, most important people in golf, but he's behind the effort to build this course that they've broken ground on out there near Hale, where they're going to build a new course for the team. Now, I've heard a lot of rumors about it. Some of it is that they're going to still keep some of the holes at UF. Who knows what's true? We've been hearing this rumor for 9 years. Fred Ridley, though, is a big part of it. However, the reason he's an overachiever, he got to put the jacket on Rory McIlroy because there was nobody to put it on because Rory won it last year. So, and that's what they do. The chairman then puts it on. So, not only did you run a great tournament, and I appreciate you, Fred Ridley, because it's still to me, it is the Super Bowl of golf, but got to put the jacket on. So he's our BMI TeleMed Overachiever of the Week. Let's get to our Hesser and Kipke. 3 things. Hesser and Kipke, with over 50 years of combined legal experience in North and Central Florida, Hesser and Kipke is your place for bankruptcy, workers' compensation, and family law. Call or text Ken and Jennifer at 352-339-9920, Hesser and Kipke. Let's start with the fact that I know it's not going to last, and Robbie and I were talking about how the Twins and the Braves are leading their divisions. We know that's not going to last either. I hope it does. I would be thrilled if it did. But I know it's not going to last if the Mets and Yankees are going to suck. But they do right now. They've each lost 5 straight games. And that's all I needed to know about baseball. So that makes me so happy. Every time I see them losing games, I root against them. I'm sorry. It's my negative rooting. We'll see where that goes right now. 5 in a row for both the Mets and the Yankees at the same time. I'm sure the New York Post is having a field day with that. Let's get to number 2 on our Hesser and Kipke 3 things, and that is that the University of California at Berkeley is restructuring its entire athletic department. And one thing they've done is they've laid off more than 24 people. Usually it's sports information type people. They're going to a company, I can't remember the name of it. It was some stupid name. Typical California name. It's Sweetness and Light or something, whatever it is. And they're going to have this company do all their work for them. And it makes me sad because sports information people are so important in the world of college sports. And I get where Cal wants to restructure things and wants to, cut back on things. You're having to go to FSU for baseball series and, Miami for basketball and Boston College. I mean, I get it. I get that the money is not it probably doesn't cover everything, but that makes me sad. When you start cutting sports information people, I'm not happy. Look, I've had battles with sports information people all my life, but 95% of the time, they have helped me a lot. And I can't tell you how much I appreciate people like Mary Howard, Scott Burns, who's at Florida now, people like that, Herb Brooks, and certainly Sullivan Bortner as well. So anyway, let's move along. Number 3 on our Hesser and Kipke 3 things is that Doc Rivers is looking for a job. I guess he is. I don't even, what is he, like 100? How old is Doc Rivers? He's got to be 100. But anyway, I didn't know he was a coach of the Milwaukee Bucks. That's how much I pay attention to the NBA until we get to the playoffs. And now I'm going to be excited about it. But after 3 years, they let him go or he quit. Nobody knows what one or the other. But Doc Rivers is no longer a coach in the NBA.
Probably 64.
64? He's younger than me then. Oh, man. I feel bad. I made fun of his age. It's okay, Doc. You can keep coaching. If I can keep doing a podcast, when I quit the podcast, you have to stop coaching, though. How about that? All right, that's our Hesser and Kipke 3 things. All right, let's move along to our Los Linderos Smooth Move of the Weekend, brought to you by our friends at Los Linderos Tequila. Go beyond with Los Linderos. Our smooth move of the weekend was Sergio Garcia, who tried to get disqualified from the Masters. I guess, why else would you on the second hole after hitting a bad drive take a chunk out of the tee box and then smash your driver because it didn't break the first time into the cooler by the thing? Driver breaks. All he says afterwards, he goes, "Hey, things happen. I didn't have to hit anything but 3-wood all day, so I was happy." I mean, he got some kind of code of conduct violation letter, a note. But if I was a Masters, I would say, you know what? We didn't like it when he won, let alone that he went to the LIV Tour, and now he's, not my favorite golfer. Let's just put it that way. He could have been. Man, that year when he hit that shot from behind the tree and ran up the fairway to see where it went, I was, like everybody, Sergio fan, but, man, he's just done so many things. Anyway, we'll see whether he gets sent back. Code of conduct warning. I don't know if that is going to keep him from coming back. All right, let's move along. That's our Los Linderos Smooth Move of the Weekend. Let's get to our Learner Law Club Team of the Weekend, brought to you by Learner Law, the place to go.
Sure, of course you're entitled. Who doesn't want this, that,
get
and
it
the
done.
other?
And Learner Law it has let us know that the Atlanta Hustle website, if you want to go to that, it is store at atlantahustle.com. They now have all their promotions going on. You can buy season tickets, single game tickets there, and they're doing a great day. All their theme nights are up there on that website. I actually went and looked at it. Really nice website if you're interested in that Ultimate Frisbee team. Learner Law bringing you the club team of the week. Let's get along to our Mark Gaida presents the 12, brought to you by Mark Gaida at Pepin Realty. We appreciate Mark Gaida and all he does for us. Let's get to the 12. The 12 today is going to be, hey, it's a football theme, right? We're going to give you the Vegas Insider top 12 teams in terms of odds. Like, this is what if you can bet 600 or you bet 100 to win 600, blah, blah, blah. You know how that works. Number 1, Ohio State. Number 2, Indiana. Did they win it last year? Just kidding. Number 3, Notre Dame. So obviously it's a Midwest theme here. Number 4, Texas. I think Texas is going to have the best odds as we go forward of winning it all of any team in the SEC. Number 5, Oregon. Number 6, Georgia. Number 7 is LSU. That would not be a bad bet because I should have written down what it was. I bet it was like 1,500, So that means you could bet 100 and get 1,500. I don't think that'd be a terrible bet. Number 8, Miami. They're going to be in the. It's all the same teams. Number 9, Texas Tech. Number 10, Texas A&M. Number 11, Alabama. And number 12, Oklahoma. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 teams from the SEC in the top 12. Florida, by the way, is number 17. If you want to bet that. And you can make a lot of money. I would not recommend it. To win it all, no, I don't recommend that. I think they're going to be better than they've been. People keep asking me about it. They're going to be better. They're not going to be great. That's my take. All right. Let us get to our Gallo Car Wash Sponge of the Weekend, brought to you by our friends at Gallo Car Wash, the place we all get our cars washed, and you should too. They do a great job. All right, our Gallo Car Wash Sponge of the Week is the bettor, unidentified bettor, who bet on this. So think about this one. $100,372 to bet that Cameron Young would not win the Masters. He bet that on Sunday. Now, he's tied for the lead at the time. So out of that, he gets I think he made like $37,000 for betting that. Because Cameron Young was in the lead, though, at one point, and he had to be sweating a little bit. But, hey, if you're a gambler and you're betting that kind of money, you're probably not even watching. You just come back and find out what you did. Anyway, he bet him not to win. Cameron Young needs to find that guy. All right, that is our Gallo Car Wash Sponge of the weekend. And let's move along and wrap it up with our Swamp Games of the Week. Coming to you from the Swamp Restaurant, where I know a lot of people were watching a lot of stuff this weekend. It was a beautiful, incredible weekend in Gainesville. Blue skies, wasn't too hot, little breeze blowing. And I know a lot of people just said, hey, I want to be at the Swamp, get a pitcher of beer and some nachos, whatever you want. Watch Gator baseball, watch Gator softball, watch the Masters. What a weekend it was. And, of course, a lot of you were here for the spring game and you went to the Swamp. All right, let's get to our games. Tuesday, Gator baseball is playing Bethune-Cookman. That game is at 6:30 on the SEC Plus. So you got to have the Plus to watch that game. Wednesday, softball is playing Florida Gulf Coast. That's at 6 o'clock, and it's on SEC Plus as well. So if you don't have the Plus, it's okay. You can watch the game tracker. But if you do have the Plus, you can watch those games. Gymnastics, I'm giving you this, even though we do a show Thursday, I want everybody to know. Thursday, ESPN2, 4:30, the Florida Gymnastics team is in the Elite Eight, I guess you would call it. I don't think they call it that, but I call it the Elite Eight. And if they are among the top two qualifiers, they move along to the Final Four. Also, we have our NBA playoff games. Play-in games is what they are. But Miami at Charlotte is 7:30 on Prime. These games are all on Prime, which I got to be honest with you. I can't see me going over to them unless I'm checking scores and I say, oh, this game's tied with 4 minutes ago. Then I could see me going to them. Portland at Phoenix is at 10 o'clock on Tuesday. Wednesday, you have Orlando at Philly, 7:30, and Golden State at LA Clippers at 10. All these games are on Prime. It's the world we're living in now. A lot of stuff's going to be streaming. You have to live with it. All right. That's going to do it for our show. Appreciate Zach for doing a great job, as he always does. We'll be back with another show. As I said earlier, Ross Dellinger will join us. We'll talk about what's going on with college football. Let's go ahead and get to the playoffs. I do want to talk to him a lot about the fact that we've had two ADs, Scott Strickland and Greg Byrne. Scott Strickland in my column, Greg Byrne in another column by somebody, say the SEC championship game's got to go. We need to get to 24 teams. So feels like that's where we're heading. I'll talk to him about that as well as everything else. All right. Appreciate all of you listeners. Appreciate everybody who watches the show, and just appreciate all of our great advertisers. They're the reason we keep going. We'll be back with another show on Thursday. Until then, I am Pat Dooley. I am deep, I am way back, and I am out of here.